Oh geez, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. SOAP framework. Oh, today is of course our options, and I'm working on the area of relationships. So the example we'll talk about today is really I don't know, this one is just it's a challenge for me, especially to open up about and talk about. Not so much, it's not as hard as the last time I went through the challenge. In the June-July challenge, we went through a 40-day get up and go challenge. I think I talked about, I don't know, I think that was a good one. That was a good one, actually. I did my relationship with myself. That one I don't have a problem with. I know where I'm hurting and where I'm not with respect to my relationship and my beliefs in myself. But this one is an area where I have coached literally thousands of people on doing the one thing that I have not been doing in my own business. And it's a primary example of do as I say, not as I am doing in my own example, my own personal example. And that is narrowing in the online world and focusing on one primary target, ideal, dream client, dream audience, dream group, dream movement. One thing. It's the one thing. And one of the things that has saved me online from absolute positively devastating information overload, and I still get sucked into it sometimes. COVID, especially during COVID, all I wanted to do was learn, train, get better. And that's just too much. It's too much. We can't learn everything. We have to figure out a path that we want to be on and then follow the breadcrumbs of the path that's right for us. And it's different for each and every one of us. But I wondered why, it's really funny, I wondered why I was attracting so many clients, so many coaching students that were struggling in this area. Because it sounds so simple on paper, right? It sounds so simple. Think about all the things that you're amazing at. Think of all the things that you're strong at, that you're awesome at, that you love to do, and focus on a problem that you solve in that area, and then go solve that for other people. But find the ideal people that have that same problem and solve it for them. Well, I think what happens as we have a lot of experience and we get older, I mean, hit the big 6-0, so I've done a lot of things. I've been involved in like 27 different industries, quarter century in corporate America, lots of different businesses, lots of different good and bad experiences, lessons that I've learned. And so how do you decide what is the one thing I love? And that is what I'm doing in this challenge this week as I go through the SOAP framework. And as you can imagine, yesterday was all about what is the story I'm telling myself as to why I can't. I shared a couple of those things. And then what is the story, and to get leverage on myself, why is it essential that I actually do that and narrow down on that? So did all that hard work yesterday, continued through my Lynn Grabhorn, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting playbook, and I got back on the horse with that, and I'm really going to make sure I knock that out in less than a year this time. Crazy. I never thought it would take me months again, yet here I am, April, May, June, July, August, 5 months into it, and I haven't finished it yet. I haven't gotten through the whole playbook yet. And again, what is my resistance to that? I'm always asking myself, why haven't I done this thing that I think and say that I want yet? And it's always because of some excuse, which is a fear, right? We only make excuses because we're afraid of something. And that's the hardest thing, is to admit that, hey, I'm afraid of stuff too. As human beings, there are things that we're afraid of. If we truly 100% believed that we should have what we want already, we'd already have it. We would have already figured it out. But there's something standing in our way and blocking us from that. And part of the exercise and the work we did as the S, our story, our situation, is starting to just uncover and unravel some of that. I don't think that we can ever look at a single area or aspect of our life without it impacting other areas of our life. When I look at relationships, there's a whole lot of mental and emotional and probably even physical baggage that comes into that discussion, those thoughts, and the work that I'm doing in that area. So today, O is all about options. What are the possibilities to get me from where I am to where I want to go? From not having a clear, focused, perfect picture in my mind and perfect picture by my computer of my ideal client. Now, part of my excuse, I realized yesterday, the story I'm telling myself is I have dramatically switched businesses, focuses, and industries. My old ideal client, who I've been trying to hang on to, is an amazing woman. Her name is Kim, and she's always been my ideal client in the offline brick and mortar Italian food manufacturing business world, right? and she's always been my ideal client in so many aspects. And as I've moved online, it isn't a perfect fit. I mean, she's still amazing. She's still my favorite customer of all time, my favorite client of all time, but it isn't a perfect fit, especially as she has transitioned out of her physical business and is moving on with her life, as I guess am I and people my age, right? So maybe that's an indication and a clue into what I should be doing and who I should be serving and what I should be focusing on next. But that, I realized, was a huge excuse and a huge reason for my confusion and my lack of commitment to a new dream customer, a new ideal customer. So I just have to dig through my memory banks and say, okay, well, who is my current ideal customer right now? And I normally, as I'm brainstorming, and today we're going to brainstorm again at least 10 things that we can do to get us moving in the direction of where we want to be. So I'm doing at least 10 things, and I will admit I cheated, and I started yesterday already in a challenge about branding, because I've been on kind of a mission, not a huge mission, but I wanted to kill Pajama Grandma, and not in a bad way, but my persona online has been Pajama Grandma for a couple of years now, and I realized that when I started and the mission and the people I was serving initially, that was a good fit. The lifestyle was my way of, Pajama Grandma was my way of presenting the do what you want, when you want, where you want, with whomever you want, wearing what you want. That was my thing. And I realized that I've kind of outgrown that, and I've gone in a different direction. So I've been interested and curious about branding and rebranding. So this week I hopped onto an unforgettable branding or unforgettable impact 5-day challenge. And of course, one of the cool things that we went through yesterday was how do you figure out your ideal client, your ideal person, your ideal individual to serve. And there are lots of tools available to do that and find that out. Have I done a lot of those tools? Yes. Have I shared those tools with my coaching students? Yes. Have we gone through them? Have we nailed theirs? Yes. So, teacher, parent, do as you say, demonstrate, don't just say, actually do and take action. So I'm doing that this week. So one of the cool things and the cool models that she did, and I was working through that last night, we'll continue to work through that today, and I'll look for other things, other possible options and things that can help me get really, really clear on this. But she had her own unique, and I'm just going to run through these steps for and questions to ask about that ideal person to get perfectly crystal clear on who it is you serve so that you can determine how do you speak to that person. So you do the demographics, right? You talk about and you think about their personality. You think about their awareness of the thing that you can do for them. So she's a branding expert. So how aware are people of that they need to brand, that they need to pay attention to how they show up in the world, their marketing, their messages and things? How aware are they of that? That it's even something that hits their radar? What are their blind spots? What do they absolutely positively want? What do they hate? What does the person that you're going to serve hate? What is she or he absolutely positively so over, so done with? They can't even deal with it anymore. They're so sick and tired of it. And ask yourself these questions too, because guess what? I've learned through coaching thousands of people is that your ideal client is almost always some previous version of you. You are almost always in the demographic group, the actual ideal client that you want to serve is usually a former version of you, who you were before you got the results that you get for people, who you were before you got involved in the business that you're involved in now. The other one is what are your promises to your ideal client going to be, and then what are you going to offer this person once you know who they are, all about them. So that's just one activity that I'm actually doing right now of all the possible options to get clear on this. That's one of the things, and I kind of snuck ahead to the A in action, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, by actually doing that and participating in that and working on it. I mean, this is my notebook with my notes that I'm chugging away and starting to do that process. Oh, I guess wrong way. Process on, because I'm going to do it right along with you, because if I'm going to do a challenge, why would I not want to benefit from it too by actually doing the work every day? It's just a little bit of work. So today our action item is to think about all of the options, all of the possibilities, and keeping our mind open and just brainstorming, brain dumping, or looking around and modeling what are at least 10 possible things that you could do to start moving from where you are to where you want to be. And it doesn't matter how outrageous or how far-fetched they are, because usually in the seed of that crazy, far-fetched, weird idea is actually the beginning of something that will really help to move you ahead. So go ahead, brainstorm at least 10 things. And I say brainstorm at least 10 things or more because it gets our mind going. Usually the first couple things we think of, as humans, we tend to think of in absolutes. It's this or it's that. I define this, or I might as well just quit online business because it's all over for me. I'm never going to be successful. We tend to think in absolutes and like there's only two options. I think, I'm not sure I told the story about bidding. In one of the companies I worked for in corporate America, it was a very, very large family-owned organization. And over the years, they had never, ever, ever bid out anything. Any big jobs, anything. It was all based on handshakes and relationships and customs and mostly family relationships was how certain business was delegated. And that was awesome when the company was smaller, but as the company was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it was really bad and not economical, and the company was making decisions that were like 10 times, if not 30 times more expensive than what the market and a reasonable person would pay for something. So one of the things I did as the quality director there was I said, hey, anything we're going to do that's over X amount of dollars requires that we have at least 3 bids. So when we're going to blacktop the parking lot, it isn't going to go to Cousin Joe automatically. We're going to get Cousin Joe's bid, but then we're going to get at least two other competitive bids. So we're looking at, and we know that we have at least 3 options for anything. So share in the comments below 3 things from your list of 10 or more that you could possibly do to move you from where you are now to where you want to be. I will share mine. I haven't been very good about sharing this challenge or keeping up on I am caught up on the units and putting them in order in the Facebook group, our private Facebook group. So if you don't belong to that and you're just joining us, hop on there and you can go and listen to these lessons in order. I will admit, I was going to keep them under 10 minutes, but I've noticed for about the last week or so, it's been 10, a little over 10, then 11, then 12, then I think yesterday was 15. And so I'm going to have to break down and get a timer to actually keep a giant timer where I can see it so that I don't go over 10 minutes. All right, everybody clear on what we're doing today? Are you clear on what we're doing today? Have fun with this. This is a really fun thing. I don't know, but if you don't think brainstorming is fun, you're not doing it right, because brainstorming is a time to jump back like when you were a little kid and fun and anything is possible and you just throw it all out there. I like to put it on Post-it notes and put them all over, or keep a little notebook with me and just write them down as I go about my day. And it's amazing some of the cool, fun, creative, amazing ideas that we come up with, or some of the things that we see that trigger an idea in us that we didn't even think we were thinking about it. All right, that's it. Have an absolutely amazing day. Get that O nailed, and all the possible things that you could do to get you from where you are to where you want to go. And I will be with you tomorrow. We're going to talk all about A, which I already let out of the bag, is action. Because nothing happens until we actually do something. All right, have a great day, and I will catch you tomorrow.